I am so mad because this film was this close to becoming an amazing, epic masterpiece. But due to a few things, it could not reach that finish line. My name is Karen and I would like to talk to the manager, please. Hello, beautiful people. It's me, your local diva Anurag, back with a review of the 2020 Disney live adaptation of Mulan. The sad thing about Mulan and every other remake and readaptations is that the original will always cast a shadow. And I know that the fans of the original classic will not like this movie. Or, I mean, they already don't. Like, people were already shitting on this movie way before it even released, just because it was so different from the animated classic. So, I do think that people's experience of this movie will be kind of like marred or eclipsed by their experience of the original movie because they will always constantly be comparing this live adaptation to the original classic. But I really hope that people try to separate those two because these are two very different films and both great in their own right. You know what? Let me just tell it to you straight. Is this movie bad? No, not by a long shot. It's a good movie. I thoroughly enjoyed it. The director Nikki Caro did a fabulous job, but I think the main credit has to go to the cinematographer. I mean, the visuals in this movie are stunning. Stunning. The landscapes and the sets are just shot so beautifully. It's so gorgeous. The story is great, the plot is great. I mean, we are all familiar with it. And I really liked how the filmmakers, added certain elements and a few changes in order to make this film seem fresh and new because we all already know the story, we all know what happens. So I really liked the effort that the filmmakers took to make this film different. And for the most part, it works. If you can separate this film from the animated classic, I think you are going to enjoy this film a lot. But I know that most Disney fans will not be able to separate these two, and this might spoil the experience a little bit. I've also seen many critics comparing this film to like the Chinese martial arts film like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon and other films like that, and calling Mulan an inferior film. And I'm just like, why?
Why? Why? Why? Why? Why?
Like, just because this live adaptation of Mulan has martial arts elements and it has that Chinese wuxia genre, that does not mean you have to compare it to every martial arts movie ever made. Like, I get it. This film, is based and inspired by a Chinese legend, and it has martial arts elements, and it has, more or less a Chinese cast. However, you need to understand that this ultimately is a Hollywood production. It's a Disney-fied epic. It's a Disney-fied Chinese epic. So just because it has a few elements does not mean that you have to compare it to other Chinese martial arts films, and obviously this Disneyfied version will seem inferior to that. The action sequences are amazingly choreographed, and I thought they portrayed the Chinese landscape and the culture very well, although I'm not sure because I'm not Chinese, so. But still, as a viewer, I thought it was great. There was nothing offensive or nothing out of place or something like that. So yeah, Mulan is a good film. But now it's time to talk about those things which holds this film back from reaching its fullest potential. Now, you might think that the witch is the main villain of Mulan, or it's Bori Khan who is the main villain, but let me tell you that the main villain in this entire film is the editor. The biggest flaw of this whole film is that it is so rushed. Things happen so quickly that you don't have time to soak it all in. And also, it just jumps from scene to scene without anything that bridges them. The first fight sequence in the Silk Road the matchmaking scene, Mulan's decision to leave, or to disguise herself as a man and leave her house. I mean, all this happens so quickly. Like, these scenes are so short that the impression it leaves behind is not very satisfactory. Like, there is not much emotional payoff. The scene ends before you are even emotionally invested in it. Even certain interactions and conversations between characters such as Mulan and the witch, I mean, these are all so short. Along with that, the transition between scene 1 and scene 2 is just so quick. Like, we have one scene and suddenly it's the next scene, and there's no proper uh, transition that bridges them two together. And I think the main reason why all this happens is because the film is so focused on the plot rather than the character. The film is more concerned with storytelling rather than telling the story of the character and the characters around. I know that the film was supposed to release in theaters, and so they had to compress the film and package it within a certain time limit for the theatrical openings. However, when Disney decided to, put Mulan up in Disney Plus, I really think that they should have added more footage. I don't know if they shot more footage, I don't know if the scenes were longer while shooting and they decided to cut it out or something, but if there were additional footage, I do wish that they had added them while, releasing Mulan on the streaming service. I think that would have really, really helped the film a lot. A lot. It would have taken Mulan from here to here. Another drawback of this film is, unfortunately, Liu Yifei. I know she supports the Hong Kong police or whatever, which is one of the reasons why many people are boycotting this film. However, this is not the reason. Liu Yifei, I am sad to say, is not a very good actress. There were a lot of instances in the film where her face was so stony, like she couldn't emote the proper expressions on her face. It was such a letdown to see her during emotional scenes or even just simply, in conversations with other people, because she just couldn't bring it. Like, she failed to express what her character was feeling at that moment, which really kept me as a viewer from connecting with her character. I mean, come on. She is the main lead. She is the titular character. So I'm really surprised by the casting of Liu Yifei. I mean, she's gorgeous. She's great during action scenes. I'm sure she does her own stunts and stuff. But the main requirement should have been her acting skills, which sadly Liu Yifei lacks. I know that she trained for months for her, action sequences, and I wish that Liu Yifei had taken the same amount of time to do some acting workshops. But the film is saved by the one and only Gong Li, who plays the witch. Like, her presence and her character just added so much to the film. She was amazing, and even her storyline was so good.
Talented, brilliant, incredible, amazing, show-stopping, spectacular, never the same, totally unique, completely not ever been done before, unafraid to reference or not reference, put it in a blender, shit on it, vomit on it, eat it, give birth.
Like, I almost think that this film could have been just told from her perspective. Like, Gong Li's witch could have been the main character in this entire film, and it would have been awesome. She stole the show. I connected more with her than I did with Mulan, and that's saying something. Gong Li is iconic, and I loved her character in this film. Donnie Yen is amazing as always, but I don't understand why there was another commander along with Donnie Yen, because I think that took away, more screen time from him. If they had not included the other commander and just given Donnie Yen all the lines and all the scenes, that would have been so much better. So I thought that other commander was an unnecessary character. Along with Mulan's sister, like, why was she even in the film? She had literally nothing to do. And this just reminded me of the grandmother. Like, why would you cut the grandmother out of the film and include the sister who literally does nothing. Like, if they had kept the character of the grandmother, I mean, at least there would be some sort of comedic relief, you know. Jet Li was alright, I guess, as the emperor. As for the other characters in the army who, you know, eventually becomes friends with Mulan, I do wish that they too had gotten more screen time, because, and I know I'm comparing to the animated classic, which I shouldn't do, and I'm like going back on my own words, but in the animated classic, like, you actually get to see the growth of the friendship between these characters and Mulan, and we actually get to know them, we actually spend time with them. But here it's just a bunch of boys who are grouped together with Mulan, and so these are the few things which keeps Mulan from, you know, reaching its potential as an epic film. Even if they had simply just edited the film more properly and added more scenes and made it a bit longer, the film would be so much more impactful. However, I don't think this makes Mulan a bad film by any means. I mean, it is still very enjoyable, it is still a great film to experience. I did not really miss Mushu or the songs from the animated classic, because the tone of this film is completely different and I don't think it would have fit into this film. However, in certain scenes, the background score does pay homage to the original music. You know what? I think this movie is going to get mixed reviews from people. Some will love it, some will hate it, and I think the public opinion is going to be divided. So I think I've said everything I needed to say, and that was my review of Disney's 2020 live adaptation of Mulan. I personally think that compared to other Disney live adaptations, Mulan is actually really good. If you have watched this movie, comment your thoughts down below in the comment section, and whether you agree or disagree with my views. I would love to hear what you thought about this film, and that's it. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye!